All right, episode 158. Today we're going to talk about real estate clickbait and what that means. So you need to tune in right now to find out.
Tune in.
All right, episode 158, we're talking about real estate clickbait and what that means and how you can incorporate that into your business instead of learning how to curate or create content. But before we get started, we need to thank our sponsors for this show. Our first sponsor is our favorite one, and that is Mortgage Mike. Mortgage Mike of Texas. He is the best lender you're going to work with. He's going to give you that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval. He is licensed here in Texas and in Oklahoma. So you're going to want to connect your clients, your referrals. If you're an agent and you want to grow your business, send it over to Mortgage Mike. He's going to make sure to take great care of him. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, a little story is that I had a past client come back to me. And look, I would like to think it's because I do an amazing job. And I would probably say that is probably half of it. But they referenced that they've been keeping an eye on their home value through the home value program that Mortgage Mike supplies. Yeah. And so it was through the Mortgage Mike system on that. They've been watching that and said, all right, now's the time, because they want to go and sell, pay off some debt, and go buy a new house. So, thank you, Mortgage Mike. So
I look at it all the time on the houses that I bought using Mortgage Mike as a lender. I get the emails every month, and I always look at them. I'm always curious. I'm a real estate agent. I could just run the comps myself. But I always click on them when Mortgage Mike sends them to me.
You know what I like about that program is that you can go and look at where you're estimated, if you were to Airbnb it, it's got that at the bottom. Do you ever play with that one?
No. I should, because they're both Airbnbs.
Exactly. And so you should check to see if they're actually as accurate on there versus what you do it for.
I have to go back in my inbox and check it out.
Yeah, so mortgagemikeoftexas.com, and then go and support Theron Smith.
You get so tired of calling him the Ron. You wanted to
I want to change it up.
Today. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I want to change it up a little bit. You just never know what today's going to bring, right? And so Theron is over there at Armadillo Home Warranty. He just came back and he got some new kicks. Did you see that? So I think last week, was it last week? Kelderman, you saw that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those high tops.
The high tops, the Armadillo ones?
Armadillo high tops. And he, look, best home warranty coming out there. I'm not bullshitting you on this.
Hard shell protection.
Yes. Giving you that hard shell protection on your client's house, on your home. His contract is one page. That's it. He's got a shirt, like Kelderman said, that his contract's on the front of it, and it's real little. And he's got his competitors on the back, and it takes up the whole deal. So go to armadillo.1/TOR, T-O-R-E, and connect with Theron Smith. And when you're doing that, and you've got some clients that are needing to rent their house out, you get them over to Dana Wynn at Homeward DFW, the best property management here in Dallas-Fort Worth, as well as they're now taking on Airbnbs, I heard, Brian.
Interesting. Dana's going to kill you
Send over
for
the
announcing
Airbnbs.
that on the air.
Yeah.
But we just took on our first two.
Yeah, and I just sent over literally right before the show. We were texting while we were getting everything revved up. Just connected with a lady who's got a couple out in Fort Worth that I've been following up with since March, and she's finally got them ready to go. She has not current, but she's in between property management companies. She's not going to use her last one. They literally charge the exact same thing that we do and offer none of the same stuff at all. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, and they don't do Airbnbs.
No, they don't.
So Dana Wynn will do that. By the way, I have in
I hear
here.
we're taking Airbnbs up in Oklahoma or somewhere around Broken Boat.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. She'll personally drive out there. Maybe
far
Paris,
away as
Texas.
Wisconsin.
Look, I have it on here. So if you're watching on video, so you can you can't see, it's all white screen.
Nope.
But I have in here why property managers suck. Right. So it's gonna be a live video I'm doing. So I'm gonna do it here right now.
Whoa.
And I wrote this down, some things that I hated about property management companies. So I used to
many of
talk
them.
so much trash about them, and I still do. And there's a lot of articles of why they're awful. And this is the exact opposite of what Dana does, because every time we're having meetings and we're coming up with strategies to make sure that we're improving, she's like, I just don't want to compromise, communication. I don't want to compromise service. And some of the common themes that have come up is they don't care. Like property managers don't care. They nickel and dime you, and they drain your profits. They overcharge for repairs because, look, a lot of property management companies make money this way. Poor communication. In fact,
Terrible communication.
yes. I mean, there's a big one here locally that gets referred a lot only because they've been around a long time. You can't get them on the phone. And I don't know why people keep freaking referring them because, when you refer them in the Facebook groups, they definitely respond there.
They definitely do. That is like one of the big, I don't know, like pull back the curtain on our meetings. It's like the only tension we have in the property management leadership meetings is Nick and I are always like, well, we need to make as much money as possible. And Dana's like, we got to do right by our clients. And we're like, forget about it. We'll make more money. And Dana's like, so not having it at all. We have to do everything so perfectly in her mind. And that's a good thing.
No, that's why we partnered with Dana. And that's why us three here are not the ones running the day-to-day operations.
Exactly.
And so, look, go to Homeward DFW. I guarantee you, you're going to see a lot more of your potential clients wanting to go that leasing route option, and Dana will do that rental analysis for you and with them to see, does it make sense? So I know you won't regret, working with her and sending your clients that way. They'll be in good hands. So,
Hey, Matt, I'm curious because I've heard your conversations in the mornings on the phones with expireds. How many conversations recently have you had with people who have been talking about renting out their property? And then how many conversations have you had about Homeward DFW?
I've had 3 conversations today. I mean, like with legitimate people who are like, I'm not going to put it back on the market. I'm renting it. And that was me calling with the intention of listing the property, right?
Yeah.
Like I was calling about the expired and turned it into a conversation. And here's the only reason that matters for people who aren't part of the company. We're going to honor the fact that you brought the referral in, and when it's time to list the property, we're not swiping the listing. No. That also works for me, too. I have this amazing pipeline funnel where I can take potential sellers who are eventually going to sell these properties. The reality is most of these people are not going to own these properties forever. Yep. They're eventually going to sell them. Get them over, show value, show that I know people who can take care of them. And then guess what? When they decide to sell, that listing's going to pop back out to Matt, the real estate agent, who's now been doing an awesome job, staying in the loop, whatever, knowing exactly when the leases are up, having all the information, and being able to potentially grab the listing on the backside too. So it's not even about really like the referral fee on the listing or on the rental side, or it's your people are going to be taken care of. They're going to be impressed that you know other people who understand good client service and client experience, and then send them back to you for you to get the listing when the time's right.
Oh, and by the way, we pay 25% referral fee when you send us a referral. So those conversations where you're having, you're like, oh, we're just going to rent it. Refer them over to Homeward DFW. Go to homewarddfw.com/realtors. Get permission from them for us to contact them, and then you'll get a 25% referral fee.
So I want to talk that. Actually, can we stay on this topic for a second? Because
seeing as we came up with this title 4 seconds before the show started, yes.
So real estate clickbait. The reason why we even titled the show this way today is that Kelderman yesterday had posted on his page a reel of Kyle Draper, Coach Draper, friend of the show. He was on the show. It was when he was in our old studio, and it was talking about how you don't need to just go create your own content. You can rip it off. You can duplicate it, and go look at that actually on Matt Kelderman's page, because Matt was getting roasted in the comments about this. Yeah. And right now in this marketplace, it's not your job necessarily. I don't think it's a smart move. In fact, I know it's not a smart move to go out there and just try to find and create new content. Our job right now is to understand and replicate the verbiage that's out there and what the experts are saying. And so just like this show, if you listen to that Homeward spot, that is a sponsor of this show, but if you're out there lead generating, you're going to be running into more and more clients at the moment that don't want to sell. They think the market's trash, which is absolutely bananas that they think that way. But it's going to be hard to change their mind. And so if leasing is that option, renting it out is the option, well, money changes hands when problems are solved. You are a problem solver, right? And so you can solve the problem by then referring them to Dana over at Homeward. You get a 25% referral fee. And Matt's right. You will get the listing back. You will get that property back when the time comes to sell it. But let me go down a different path here. Is that why not be an advocate for helping that client that you just referred over to the property management company to build wealth? why not start going and finding more rental properties for them instead of just having one? Why not show them how they can have two? Why not show them how to get 2, 3, 4, 5? Now you're helping them build wealth. Now you're becoming that advisor to them. And I would bet, I'm going to go out on a pretty far limb here, that I would bet that they would be thankful for you if you are bringing them good rental opportunities. You're making your commission. You're helping them increase their cash flow and their net worth. And you get it over to Dana, you're helping it's a ripple effect.
And then you're getting referrals too because you help them build wealth. Do you mean like if you're running into somebody and you're having a conversation with like, I'm just going to rent the property out, and then you help them rent the property out, then also bring it to their attention like, hey, you probably have a ton of equity in this home right now. Why don't I hook you with my lender to see if we can get maybe a HELOC or a cash out refi of some sort and leverage that into 2 or 3 more rental properties? Would that help, you know, with your family, occupation, recreation dreams? I keep saying freedom, occupation, recreation.
Actually, I like freedom. Why not change that? So if we're talking to, you know, it's the Ford script, right? The family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, that you're going to work them down. But in this case, if they're saying, Matt, I want to go rent the house, well, let me talk about, so obviously you're wanting to rent the house out. Are you interested in more financial freedom opportunities?
Whoa, it should be freedom.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go down
Forget your family.
Yeah. Well, I think financial freedom is going to help the family. Yes or yes.
That's true. Yes
Yeah.
or yes.
So we're gonna go down that path. So now you're having these conversations. You rip off and duplicate what's going on in the show, and the ideas and strategies. Then you get them over to Dana. Dana's going to get it rented out. She's going to lease it out. She's going to take great care of them. You're going to look like that rock star, and they're not going to be the ones worrying about toilets, tenants, and taxes, right? Then you get them over to Mortgage Mike and talk about, hey, when's the best time that we start looking at doing some cash out refinances so that we can go buy more? Now your job as the real estate professional is to go out there and start searching for more listing opportunities, because guess what? There is opportunities out there to buy that are good rentals.
Oh, that's one of the it's one of the things about the market having the run up that it is, that rents have gotten pushed too. And now that prices are flattening out and coming back to equilibrium, we're actually getting closer to having local 1% deals again.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
it's possible.
And so I was at the Lawyer's Title did the economic forecast today. And they were talking about what the Dallas-Fort Worth market's looking like, and kind of just they're looking at nationally as well. And they said, look, the next 6 to 12 months is going to be in our marketplace here is going to be a little rocky. It's going to be bumpy.
Bananas.
Right? And they didn't say bananas; they said bumpy. So bananas could
The
be
bad kind of bananas.
Yeah, bananas could be good or bad.
Rotten bananas.
Nobody likes bumpy bananas.
Yes. Yeah.
Banana bread
But
bananas.
they said after that, we go back on the good. We get back on that good track, and so they're not saying that we're actually going to the valuations are going to fall really in terms of year over year. You know, we're still up over 13. I think he said I have 13% based on our real trends.
Yeah.
They said I think it was 15% year over year.
It is amazing how people think the market is like, and the world is ending when we're only up 13 to 15% year over year.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah, and so what they're projecting is there's a couple of things that is really the kicker is right. They need to see is the recession that we are in is when we come out of this are we doing a soft landing, or do they continue to increase rates to get inflation under control, which Brian can appreciate this, right? So get inflation under control, which is eventually going to choke out the job growth. Because we're still adding roughly 23,000 jobs a month on average right now here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So our job economy is still super strong. And since 2010 here in North Texas, in the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have brought in 176 national headquarters. Company headquarters since 2010.
Including Homeward Property Management.
Yes, including Homeward Property Management, employee 1. 1.5 with Lucky. And so from that is saying, okay, you know, you start understanding this and saying, you know, the next 6 to 12 months are going to be rocky. Where's the opportunity? Money changes hands when problems are being solved. And so our opportunity is like, all right, you want to rent it out, Matt. I don't think we can definitely help you sell this property. By the way, like we came out of a market that the chances of us seeing that again are slim to none.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
I hope it's none, because
Yeah.
like this, friends of the show, you heard us saying this like at this point last year. Like, people are gonna run out of cash at some point. This thing's gonna get weird. Like it was cool for a while. I hope we don't see it again. But I think that what you're saying in we can talk about this a lot of different ways, but like, this is one of the things that I think the real estate professionals in general struggle with a lot. Is like, you said this before, money changes hands when problem gets solved. Problems also don't always get solved overnight in a way that benefits you on a transactional basis, meaning bringing value to clients or prospects or human beings in general on a long-term ongoing basis is how you build a sustainable business. And so where we've kind of been for the last 2 years, a lot of agents have got away from the idea of, what can I do to be in this person's world and help them solve whatever problem it is they have right now? Whether or not that means a listing, a buyer, or whatever, or just a deepened relationship in which they think about me when they think about real estate. That's the mental shift that a lot of agents and professionals need to make right now. I know we're using the example of like, if they're looking to rent it, do this or whatever. Like, just the mindset around your lead generation tactics right now needs to be more so, how do I bring value to this person and remain in their world as a real estate expert, regardless of whether or not I am signing an agreement with them in the next 30 days? And if you keep that mindset your entire career, I promise you're never going to be hurting for business.
Well, and when it comes on to the real estate clickbait, the rip off and duplicate model is you don't have to go and truly study this yourself to truly become that the main expert, right? You're not going to be the one going on stage and really spewing off the stats because you came up with it, or you're the one that's got the your pencil and notepad out, like sketching it out. Like, it's already there.
Right.
And guess what? People are already putting it out there.
Yeah.
And so then you go digest it and make sure that the message that you want it to come out, because guess what? We can spin this any way we need to or want to. And in my opinion, I think that you should always come from full transparency. Like, I just sent a video out that talked about, look, since May of 2022 through the end of August, the average pre-owned home sales price has fallen $32,000. But year over year, we're up 13%.
Yes.
So you need to put it in that perspective. And, when you start doing that, like, if you just say, hey, Brian, at the home, pre-owned home sales prices are falling $32,000 since May, and you're trying to get me to list the home, it's one or two things are going to happen. I'm like, well, I better go list right now.
Right.
Or if I'm not truly, if I'm a little motivated but not really, I'm like, man, I'm just going to wait then, because I want this other market where people were banging the door down, and paying well over asking price.
Do you think it would be valuable to handle that objection here on the podcast? Because we talked a little bit about this in the team meeting yesterday. Like, when you're talking to someone and they said they're going to wait for the market to come back, how do you handle that objection right now?
I say, what is it? What is it from this next market that you're looking for? I want them to know, because I don't.
Yeah.
Here, because I actually had this on my team meeting yesterday too.
Yeah.
So because I said, look, I can't solve your problem if I don't know it. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know, what are you looking for in the market.
Sure.
Right. So what does that mean to you? Does that mean that we need to see home prices go up by $5,000? Do we need to see inventory levels come down? Do we need to see, what is it?
Yeah.
Like, what are you searching for? What is your metric of saying the market's better?
That's the only question you can ask, because the variables are too great on the other side, right? If you just start asking, well, is it this? Is it a white cat? Is it a purple bird, right? Like, if you just start asking like all that, you're never going to ask enough questions to find that out at all.
Yeah.
So why don't you ask about what's already happened, right? So if you don't mind me asking, Nick, how long have you lived in the home?
Since 2014.
2014? What did you pay back then for it?
$327,500.
$327,500 back in 2014. Let me ask you, Nick, I don't mean to pry, but if I told you back in 2014 that you'd be able to sell your house for $600,000 in 2022, would that be a win for you?
Sure.
I could probably sell your house for $600,000 today. Is that a win for you?
I don't know, because my neighbor sold for $650,000.
Oh, your neighbor sold
Yeah.
for $650,000?
Yeah.
How long do you want to wait to make up that extra $50,000? Because you said back in 2014 it'd be a win for you to sell for $600,000.
Yeah, that was a different market time.
It was, absolutely. Do you mind if I tell you a little bit more about that market?
Sure.
It's because there's pros and cons to everything. What your neighbor hasn't told you. Did your neighbor move locally, by the way?
I don't know. They didn't tell me.
Yeah.
We weren't that close.
I wasn't that close with them either. Right? The thing about your neighbor selling for $50,000 more is that when people were overpaying, and I guess we should say overpaying, because if you can't sell for $650 and he did, then they're probably overpaying for his house. He probably would have had to take that extra $50,000, and with the 50 other offers that were probably on the house that he was going to buy, probably had to roll that $50,000 right into the next house. If I could sell your home for $600,000 today, and you wouldn't have to take $50,000 extra dollars, put it into your next house. In fact, I might even be able to give you get you a seller concession that helps you buy your rate down, so you're not paying 6.25. You might be paying more like 4.5. Would that be a win for you?
Possibly.
Possibly. Where are you moving?
I don't know.
Well, you're going to have to come up with better than that, Nick, or I'm not selling your house.
But that's what they say. I don't know.
I know.
Like, wait. So
we can't role play all day, but you understand what I'm saying.
That's exactly.
Instead of
they
trying
say
to crystal
they
ball
don't know.
the future, why don't we talk about the past, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, both of those, by the way, and I would say marry a lot of those two together, because you're right. You need to look at the past, and you need to understand what their expectations are, and then you bleed them together, because you're 100% correct, because you got to show them that, hey, you bought this here. Now the problem lies is, what if you're talking to someone who bought 1 or 2 years ago?
Yeah,
because then that doesn't go. Then that doesn't jive. Then
you're
we're saying,
100% right.
Yes.
You're 100% right. And what is the percentage in any market environment where you're talking with people who only bought a year or two ago about listing their home? It's probably relatively low. And two, how much fun are those conversations in any market? The last time I heard anyone have a conversation like that, I remember it distinctly. It was Matt Kelderman on the way back from a long, 3-hour drive we had to this ranch that we never listed. And he got a call about listing a home from a couple who was getting a divorce. And he even said to the client on the phone, look, this is going to hurt because you guys only bought the house last year.
Yep.
You're going to be lucky to break even. It's not people that are selling after a year or two. They're not selling to cash out on the home. They're selling because something happened.
Well, and while you may be talking to more of them right now, especially if you're making expired and canceled calls or whatever those designations are in your market, you're going to find a lot of them. You also find, I think, a lot of them were tire kickers too, right? Like just realizing they're like, hey, I'm going to try and cash in on this. They missed the market and just didn't get it.
Yeah, that conversation doesn't need to go that far then, right?
I saw what Harvey said. Like we were talking about the clickbait thing, though, and I think this is what Nick was kind of getting at that I think is really important. One, I just fundamentally don't believe new ideas really exist. You can go find things that are the combination of really great ideas that come together and become new great ideas. Yeah. But like with the stuff that we're talking about putting out, you going out and consuming that content with the intention of being able to repurpose it for yourself is going to make you smarter and make you able to speak on it. So it no longer becomes somebody else's content. It's going to provoke thoughts in your own head. You're going to relate it to your experiences with your clients and your own self. You're going to put your own spin on it, which is exactly what Kyle Draper was saying in that video, by the way.
Yeah. I hope you guys do that. Like, that's just that baseline, I guess. Like, if you're maybe avoiding taking really good ideas and sort of making them your own and putting content out that way, like, understand that would be like every NFL team suing one another because they all run quarterback sneaks on 4th and inches. Like, ideas are good ideas. What the hell are we talking about?
Well, and like, look, and it also, like, let's just take current culture into play. In a day and age where we were literally watch a reel that is cut in half with one person making a point.
It's just another dude watching the reel.
Making mock faces like, like we'll sit, that'll get 2 million views.
It's so
and I
weird.
get somebody with an anime profile pic coming on talking to me about like virtual plagiarism. I was like, what does that even mean?
Yes, that's what a virtual plagiarism is. And that got me on that one. I was like, all right.
It's like this. Welcome to the internet, Pops.
Yeah.
Good grief.
By the way, that we weren't saying that you should rip it off word for word. Like I'm not printing out the transcript and reading it. Hello, my name is Matt Kelder. I mean, Nick Good.
Yeah.
You have different audiences, most likely, than the people whose content you watch. So if you've ever, like, for example, read a book and then had a conversation, you probably are discussing those ideas with someone else than the author was before you wrote the book.
Do you think when the news, like all the news channels start reporting on the same topic, is that
Yeah, I could do what the news sources say. I could talk out both sides of my mouth and have completely different headlines for the exact same chain of events. Like, I could do that too.
Because they got different audiences, right? And that's why CNN and Fox are so it's such a dynamic and hot topic, is because you've got two different types of people interpreting two different, maybe even the same view, and they're like, I heard it this way, no, I heard it that way. It's like, who gives a shit? Like, are you going to buy or sell?
We do this all the time, and every industry has this. But if whatever industry you're in, especially on social media, you usually have a lot of other people in that industry, or you're in a part of a lot of groups for that industry. Like, think about whenever like something culturally happens and a meme gets made out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then like I will tell you, and if your job is anything like real estate, like everybody in your world will start posting the same stupid meme within the first 6 hours, and then you're like, dang, that's actually kind of funny, but I'm not going to post it now because everybody posted it. Guess what? All your friends, family, people in your world who aren't in real estate, and this isn't about the meme, they haven't seen that content. How many times have you seen somebody post something that's like 2 or 3 years old that you're like, is this just getting to your world?
Yeah.
Like, how in the hell did you just find out about this? Like, think about that differently, though. Think of how many people aren't having these types of conversations. They don't follow the same page as you do. They don't have the same interests you do.
Yes.
You might be the only person saying this to them.
100%.
And just because some jackwagon jumps on your social media, and this isn't even about my thing, like just because somebody comes on your social media or you see other people doing it, I promise you, nobody, unless you are ripping off somebody's idea, don't go steal people's thumbnails on YouTube and steal their content and do it. That's a completely different thing. A Facebook reel that's under 60 seconds, I'm going to be super hard pressed to like say anything that's going to really like steal some intellectual property from anybody.
You know who's
else.
doing great reels, by the way?
Who?
That I'm shocked. Mortgage Mike.
He's doing fantastic
Yeah.
reels.
I mean,
I'm watching every one of them.
go to Michael DeBacker's Facebook page because he is.
He's not afraid to get corny with it.
You know,
I
he's
love
not,
it.
and this dude didn't like. This guy's not as tech savvy when it comes to the like
Yeah.
anything up to date when it came to Facebook video posting, reels.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden he comes out hot. Like,
Yeah,
I
he's
mean-
got good ideas too. I like watching his stuff.
Yeah, whoever, like, I can't see who that is because I got my glasses on and I'm like weirdly. Does that say Brandon at the bottom? We just comment.
Yeah, Brandon.
Like you're absolutely right. Like we live in this world where we just accept so many weird things on social media as truth, right? That are just like easy to fact check. Or a story will come out from 4 years ago. Nobody looks at the date that's at the top of the freaking article. They're like, what happened today?
I remember
Yeah.
when somebody sent me an article that Joe Frazier died like 6 years ago. I can't.
I was
remember
really
who it
sad
was.
about that in
And they were like,
2015.
"Oh man," and I was like, "Oh no, what are we doing here? I don't know what we're doing."
But here's the thing is, I think it's also, it's a great educational tool. I think I said last week or the week before, like all the real estate emails that we get, taking that and repurposing that as content. Again, not saying exactly what they say, but if somebody sends you a cool, Keeping Current Matters, they send you a cool little 1, 2, 3 list of something
Yeah.
that's a topic that you see everybody posting about.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world for you to take 60 seconds and record a video on those 1, 2, 3 things.
I
and
do
that
it.
doesn't mean that you're ripping off Keeping Current Matters.
I know. That's actually, guys, you want to peel back the curtain. I do a video. Jesse and I do a video every week for our database. I get most of the headlines from Keeping Current Matters, and then I do my own take on it because I don't actually agree with everything they say. So I make it personal to like my thoughts, but I get the prompts. It's kind of like, whose line is it anyway, right? Like Ryan Stiles is not actually pretending to drive that cab. He's just, that's the prompt, and that didn't land. But you know what I'm talking
no, it
about.
didn't.
Ever seen Whose Line?
Yeah.
That's a pretty.
It's an
layered.
old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to talk about, you said Fox News and CNN and Hot Topic earlier, and I was just thinking about a bunch of goth kids doing a round table arguing about My Chemical Romance. And that made me laugh a lot in
I
my
don't
head.
even-
It's loud in his head.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey, but we also do this too. Like if you see really successful YouTube people and things like that, I think there's when we talk about clickbait, I think people automatically assume there's something negative about it. And there's nothing wrong with pulling people into your content with what they think is going on. So you can then have a conversation with them about why they may not be correct about that.
Well, and actually, if you go with like even Brandon Snyder, he commented on there is like, last year Trek had, Trek changed the HOA, had some HOA law changes from last
That
September.
was a huge one.
what
And
was
then-
it again?
Brandon composed
They
it.
can't
I mean,
tell
good
you what
question.
you can and can't do anymore or something
Yes,
in some way?
look, it reduced a lot of their power, right?
That's
and
right.
But then people started posting it right before September of this year, like, "Hey, there's new changes coming," and
That's right.
like, and it got shared. Again, you want to talk about
Yeah, that's
people
right.
that rip off and duplicate without fact checking. I
saw that a
like,
bunch.
There's agents, once they see it's on someone else's page, they're like, it's got to be God's truth, because if that person posted it, then they must have done the fact checking, and then they go share it, and then it gets shared, or copied and pasted, and then you go find out, well, it was from last year. So, Brandon's 100% correct. And look, when it comes down to making content or ripping off content, you can still have your own opinion on it that comes off as an expert opinion. So how many people did a video or shared their thoughts on the Bank of America lending, those lending guides for minorities? Like people, I'm going to tell you right now, there was some hot opinions.
All
on
of my
that
savvy social media people were really quick to jump in and have conversations about that, right? Like, again, not taking advantage of anything other than the fact that it was a conversation topic that people were super polarized on, right? And jumped on and explained what the program was and that it kind of already exists.
Yes.
And that all Bank of America did was take a marketing opportunity to make it seem like they were doing something that nobody else was doing.
But I'm going to tell you,
It worked because we're talking about it 3 weeks later.
But people out there had some major hot opinions on it, and even some of these hot opinions that I did not agree with, and I'm like, whoa, you're going there. There's people agreeing with them with it, and so again, it's sharing of that, and now you're maybe thinning your herd, but the following that you have gets even deeper connected, and so it's the same thing with your database, right? You start sending out content information on this, and if you've got some hot takes on it, look, you might lose a lot of people, but the other ones might be so loyal that all of a sudden your business and referral business goes through the roof. Who knows?
You think?
Or maybe you get canceled. I mean,
What do you guys think about student loan forgiveness?
I'm not touching that topic.
Dang.
I mean, I'm not going to touch in the sense that other than the fact that I didn't really have many, so
Yeah.
I don't really weigh in on the subject.
I don't have
and I
any.
also went to school when Iowa State costs less than $6,500 a year, so it's
That's
not
true. College is expensive.
It was
Very
college was not
expensive.
an issue.
Yeah.
I just went and dropped out 3 times.
I won't. I don't touch it because it's. I don't think you win on voicing your opinion
I was
either
just
way.
saying that was another hot topic where a lot of real estate professionals were like really quick to share. Nothing wrong with having an opinion. They were like, you're definitely aligning yourself with certain people and disaligning yourself.
Look,
with
I know
certain
there was an agent or two that went down the ultra conservative path that was here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Yeah.
And that guy went all in, and I don't know what his business looks like today, but I mean, there's riches in the niches, and so you can go down that path. I'm not advising that, and
You can say and do whatever you want. Just be prepared for however the court of public opinion handles that, right? Like, it's honestly why. Like, I actually will you pop up Brandon's comment, that last one he just put down there, where he was just talking about like I like this thing he says at the Bug Banaz, but it's leading with
100%.
fact-driven content that elicits a response from future clients. This is what a lot of people don't do quickly enough, I don't think, and I'm certainly guilty of this, of understanding what people are talking about and constantly making, not engaging content, because I think we use the word engaging content a lot, making engageable content.
Ooh.
I like that.
That's designed to elicit a response so you can get deeper in conversation. We do a lot of talking at people through our social
Yes.
media. A shitload of talking. I noticed this the other day when I noticed the pattern to his questions that he was asking the other day. And I was like, I don't do enough things that are designed to ask people, that are designed to have
like
a call to
interactive.
action or
Yeah.
to be, it's cool because people will interact and then I respond, but it's very reactive and not proactive. And I think that's exactly what Brandon's talking about, is trying to make content that's going to engage people, elicit a response from them, and do these things, filling your pipeline through that, deepening relationships, all of that type of stuff. We do a lot of content where we're talking at people and not a lot of content where we're getting information from people.
I think if you could put like the bullet points of like content creation 101, that would be right up there at the top. It's like, what are you doing to create content that specifically solicits a response from your audience rather than just informs? Because that is, you talk about getting deeper into relationships with people just through communication. Man, like if you're not creating all of your content, like Nick does a great job of this, with an eye for being interactive rather than just like engaging, like Matt said. Engages is people watch your shit and like it a lot. Interactive means that they're actually communicating with you. That's the purpose of all this, by the way. So just something to really keep in mind when you're creating any sort of content.
That's all I got. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's the truth.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about hot topics more?
Sure. I mean, I don't store. I mean,
I think that
sure.
this might seem like a really out of like left field topic, by the way. I do, just when we're talking about the brown bananas of this market or whatever, it is really, really, really important that you're bringing a lot of valuable information to your prospects, your database, and whatever your audience is in general right now. The amount of conversations that the three of us and our teams have with people that are real estate related, it is very obvious right now. I did this at team meeting yesterday. I was like, just Google housing market and then look at the variation in headlines right now. Like, it is so confusing for the general public to get a handle on what's going on right now. That's why it is really important to be creating content right now, to be informing, and also to be engaging with your audience, I think, at a higher level than really any point right now.
Well, and I wasn't joking. Before the show started, I said, right now, this real estate market isn't fun, right? And I know the last 2 years, we said it wasn't fun either, where we were just, it was out of control and it was chaotic and just exhausting. But this one is a different feeling, right? Because you come with good intentions, and right now in this marketplace is because there's so much misdirection with the information out there. I won't even say misguided. Is that, you get people that want to sell, but they also say they want to wait till the market gets better. Well, this was a once in a lifetime market we've ever seen. And they also went up 1,000,000% in equity. Yeah. But now they've dropped a little bit because, they're not getting the $50,000 more that their neighbor did. They're just going to put their hands up and say, I'm going to wait. Or these buyers who were on the sideline, who's over the last 2 years said that I'm not going to compete in this market. I'm not going to come out of pocket $100,000 just to stay competitive. Now they don't have to, but now they're saying, well, interest rates are too high. Yeah. And when you try to solve that problem, then they still reject you. This is a tough market, right? But this is where your skill set comes in.
It's a skill-based market.
This is developing your skill. Like, this isn't developing skill is not fun. I'm going to say, like, you go and learn it, you go and implement it, and you're not going to get that immediate result typically that you're looking for. And it's going to be a lot of pushback, and it's going to be a lot of you've got to work harder, you've got to grind it out, you've got to push harder, you've got to talk to more people, and then eventually as this market wears on and we get used to it, it becomes the new normal, right? Where now the new normal is okay, 5 3/4 to 6 3/4 is the normal rate range, or maybe 6% plus is the normal rate. There's nothing we can do about that, by the way. Like, we can't change that. So this is where we are. Do you want to go buy a house and get good tax write-offs? You get to paint it any color you want without having to paint it back when you leave. You don't have to worry about people being above you or below you and making noise.
Is that part of the HOA thing? You can paint your houses whatever color you want now?
Sure. Not the exterior. I think they still control that.
They still control that?
Yeah.
They
I think there's something
control
about, can they control the fence? Can they still do that? I thought there was something about fencing rules in there. Because I'm pissed. I live in Stonebridge, and you can't have at least it was
have to have
a
like
6-foot fence. It can't be taller than that. And I'm 6'3".
Why?
Yeah.
Like, I can see over.
Why can't you have it taller than that?
That's their rules.
They want it. It's called the Wilson from Home Improvement rule.
Maybe that's
He's
what
got to
it
be able
is.
to see over the fence. Such a weird rule to have.
I kind of have a bit of a different take for like the past month. I am enjoying this market way more than what we were doing for the past, call it, 18
better
months.
Conversations.
It's the past 18 months felt really like a scramble to whatever was viable, right? Like, sellers had enough power to hire any real estate agent they wanted because agents were looking for inventory to put on the market knowing it would sell really quickly. Buyers were willing to work with agents, but then also it took forever to get them under contract. This market right now, it kind of allows you, the real estate agent, to be able to vet who you're working and spending your time with the most, a lot more than the previous market, right? I made 45 calls this morning. 5 people went into my pipeline out of talking to like 11 people. I had a great pickup rate this morning. It was freaking bananas.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like every 4 dials somebody was picking up.
Heck yeah.
And had really good conversations that I was able to go deep on, get a third piece of contact information or a third piece of information, do all the things I know I need to do to build a successful pipeline. Whereas before, there were no expires to call. Yeah, there were tons of buyer leads coming through, but it was also almost unmanageable, the amount of buyer leads you would have if you could even take care of all of them, right? Like, this market, I think, to your point, as a skills-based agent, if you take the time to go out and learn a little bit or just do stuff you're uncomfortable with, you're going to find a lot more business, I think, than there was in the previous market for sure.
100%. There's like 2 things, and then we obviously have to get to our amazing hypothetical. But the reality is, For the past 2 years, you haven't had a lead generate as hard. And so a lot of people are out of that habit. A lot of agents are out of that habit anyway. And people haven't been trying harder to get skilled up. So if you're in the lead generation mindset right now, yeah, your pickup rate is really good. And people do want to talk. And even though the market is crazy right now, that's actually why people want to have more conversations. And it's a great time to get skilled up on having better conversations. I was watching a video with Mike Hicks this morning. I don't know if you guys know that KW Royalty invented the Promise script and stuff. And he was talking about, like, he's like, these are the best times to just take market share. He's like, you're never going to give that market share back. If you're able to have better conversations right now, your business isn't going to go down. And even if it stays flat, when the market turns around, it's going to explode. You're never giving that market share back right now. This is the opportunity that you guys need to see. Like, it just is what it is. Yeah. I saw that damn Bruce Lee question again. That's why I was laughing.
I didn't know. Whatever
Kelderman
question you
wasn't
guys
here
chose.
for that. I don't want to hash it out again. It still upsets me.
What question did you guys decide?
I like number 14.
Go with whatever.
I
I
like
look
it.
today.
This is an interesting one. I don't know how funny we can make this, but it actually does make you think. If you were ordered to can't even get through this.
Practice.
If you were ordered to practice one of the 7 deadly sins daily,
Every day.
which one would it be? Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, or sloth?
I'm going with gluttony or sloth. Like if I had to do something every day, it would either be lay around or just eat whatever I want.
I feel like I do gluttony every day anyway. So.
I think there's something about the word gluttony makes me feel like I'm already too full.
Well, the
though.
movie
Like,
Seven made all
yeah,
of these
that guy
words
didn't
really
look
terrible.
happy. He made it. It made it feel like you're eating until you're uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's not fun.
Well, I don't want to eat until I'm uncomfortable though.
They're
I'd eat a
all
lot.
miserable, though.
But when you
Like,
go
they're all
greed,
miserable.
then you typically lose and you burn bridges.
That's true.
And you lose relationships. If you do lust,
It's just
probably
gonna
the
be-
same thing.
Is
just gonna be-
anyone
it's just be-
practicing the lust with me,
Well,
or
you're
is it just?
that's the thing. No, but that's the whole point. It's just gonna be like insatiable.
Yeah, I
like,
don't know. Like Quagmire
just-
from Family Guy.
yes.
I don't really want that.
Never satisfied in a dark room, just lame.
I don't know.
Go back to that.
Envy
Jesse.
would be terrible too, though, because I just walking around, just like always wanting what other people have, would just
I
be
feel like
awesome.
we all know people like that, and
Yeah.
that's not a fun way
Maybe
to live.
I guess pride.
I don't have
Right.
enough. I don't have enough energy for wrath. Like
Yeah.
I can get pissed off real quick. I just can't sustain it.
I think pride.
Part of me thinks I feel I do wrath too much.
Here's the
anyway.
thing. Here's the thing with pride, though, is like, and we could do this with all of them, but pride, like, I just picture somebody just walking around, like, just feeling like they're better than everybody else, and everything
Yeah.
they do is better. That seems lonely as hell
Actually,
too.
They all, but that's the problem. I think they all end in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 7 deadly
Yeah.
sins. That might be the best one.
Who doesn't want to lay around and watch TV?
I
though?
think over
You
time.
know what, or- okay.
Netflix and chill.
If we have to do
Yeah.
it and we still lose a relationship, is it pride, greed, or lust?
Oh,
it'd probably be greed, because at least I can buy people to act like they like me.
Yeah.
No, wait, am I greedy and
You
I'm
buy some-
successful, or am I greedy and unsuccessful? Because then that's even worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could be greedy and not even like rich. You could just be just like always wanting for more, but not even. I think for me, whoa, that was late in the episode. I think like pride, I could convince myself that I was worth it. So maybe walking around like I'm better than
I
everybody
think
all the
you're
time,
right, yeah.
right? Like if I mentally trained myself enough to think that like I was worth thinking that highly of myself, maybe that I could live in that fantasy forever. Maybe I already do.
Yeah, Katie Showalter and I are on the same page. I don't think, like, especially because sloth isn't gluttony. So I'm assuming, since they're two separate ones, that I will lay around, but I won't get like uncomfortably.
But you have to
like,
do it every day. I don't
know, I'd get
Oh,
so
I know.
bored
it
after
would
like a
be.
day,
It would
dude.
be so boring. It would be boring, but
Yeah.
I just get a World
mean-
of Warcraft account and see you guys later.
I love that that's a World of Warcraft. Is World of Warcraft still big?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
Sure.
big, but
Alright.
it definitely exists.
This is going to be an over-under, Jesse. Number of active World of Warcraft players. I'm putting it at 6 million.
well, Blizzard has other games now, so it's like
6 million sounds like a lot.
6 million does sound like a ton.
4.8. I wasn't that far off, dude.
Wow.
There's 34,000 people playing. I don't know. You may want to run
At
dungeons
any
with me. Let me
given
know, bro.
Given
Moment?
moment.
I need the cape of feral witchiness if anyone wants to
don't even know
run
what
a
you're saying.
level 15 cave with me.
Did you used to play this game?
Fuck yeah, I did.
Obviously, know a lot about
I
it.
got nothing.
Sure did.
Oh my gosh.
What if you could take a nap for 2 hours a day, no matter what, or
If I could.
Isn't
you
that called a
could-
siesta?
Or you could always you could carry around an adrenaline shot that would last for an hour and use it once a day whenever you want.
And it doesn't harm your
doesn't harm your body at all.
Adrenaline shot
think
all
so, too.
day.
I think so too. And on slow days, I do it at weird times, just like right at the dinner table. Just we're going. Like didn't have a use for it today. I don't get them back.
Start eating real fast.
Exactly.
You know who always has an adrenaline shot?
I saw that second one too. That Katie, that has 120 million players.
Who is it? What?
I saw that too.
Go back to the thing, Jesse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is what the Googles
This
says.
is the problem with these rabbit holes. Is now I want to know how many people have ever played
That's
Oregon
15
Trail.
Well, it's 15 facts, and Rebecca's right. How many? I used to play Oregon Trail all the time.
How many copies of Oregon Trail were ever sold to like schools and shit? That would be. I bet it's 1 billion.
I think it came with the Mac computer.
I bet
didn't it?
maybe 1 billion copies. I bet were sold. Just sold. I guess sold. 65 million copies.
It's a great game.
That might be the
great
most.
game.
Is that the most successful computer game of all time?
I don't know.
Well, no, there's WoW.
But only 4.8 million people. I don't know.
That's in 2022.
Okay. Most successful video game. Then we're done because now we're down a rabbit hole. But I gotta know. Computer game. World of Warcraft's gonna be up there, or Oregon Trail's gotta be up there. Minecraft, Fortnite, dude, it's not even cracking the top 6.
No.
PUBG.
The thing is, a lot of games are computer games now. Look, World of Warcraft is like 6 on this list.
Yeah.
For all the people who can't see
But
it,
it
they
says
just see us,
42
and the cameras are
million.
not switching.
But see,
You don't know
dude,
what camera
65
it's
million copies of Oregon Trail. I don't understand why we're getting snubbed.
doing. I don't know.
Wow.
Dang.
Demand a recount.
Civilization is a pretty fun.
We're
game,
gonna have to
too.
look into this. Tetris is a good one, but that's like more of that is a computer game. But then you have to count Game Boy and all that stuff. It's difficult to kind of figure out those numbers.
Cross-platform.
Oregon Trail's one platform.
Four oxen.
Middle school, more oxen, and a rattlesnake bite.
Elementary for me.
Dysentery.
All right.
So good.
MortgageMikeofTexas.com. Send them all your Texas and Oklahoma lender opportunities.
And once they close on that deal, make sure that they're checking out Theron Smith over at armadillo.1/tour for that hard shell home warranty coverage.
Kelderman,
Oh, I get to do one. I gotta do this.
can you do it?
Well, I don't know. Probably not. HomewardDFW.com.
That's it.
Jesse,
Homework
change
DFW. I'm just so nervous.
Change it to Dana's Amazing. Hang on, I'm waiting for Jesse to switch it. He was reading a book. I want people to see it.
Well, you have to do it because what about your shirt?
Yeah,
I know.
just
I
show
do have
me
on
your
my
shirt
homework
instead of doing a
today.
plug.
This is what we provide. Personal service, quality service, and exceptional, customer service.
That's why she said today on your post that shirt needs to be burned.
I know. I got 3 of them too. So deal with that.
Dana is going.
Dana Wynn at Homeward
furious.
DFW is freaking awesome. She really does care a ton. And
Yeah.
you get to hang out with her. And not
Hey,
us.
can y'all do us one favor? I'm tired of going on our podcast channel through iTunes and only seeing 70-something reviews. Go leave us a 5-star review on there, please, and go to our Facebook group, the only real estate group worth being a part of. We haven't talked about that in a while.
Yeah, I know.
talk
A
about
lot
it
of good stuff going on in
Yeah.
there.
So we'll see you next week's show.
You won't see me. I'm in Vermont.
What?
Yep.
Breaking news.
I forgot to tell you guys until just now. Okay, let's go. Thanks for watching the show today. Make sure if you're watching this on Facebook, you head over to our group, the only real estate group worth being a part of, so you can watch the extended conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you listen on the Apple Podcast, leave us a review. We'd really like it. So just do it. Do it. Do that over there. Go to this one. And then go to that one. Thanks.